Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, March 3rd, 2025. It is a new month. Definitely excited. My birthday comes in a week, so I'm definitely excited for that. But let's get into the recap, right? So we start off with Holly and Doug, right? So Holly comes over to really clear the air because of their last conversation where Doug tells her that he has feelings for her. So he said that he really wants to just move forward and forgets about it, but Holly said that can't be possible. We need to talk about it, clear the air. So she said, I get that you have feelings for me, but I'm in love with my boyfriend. I'm in this relationship with him and we can only be friends. So as long as you understand the boundaries, nothing should change, because Doug was already just, with the notion that they can just, move forward and not be friends, if this is going to be complicated. But Holly doesn't want to give up their friendship, so she's all good with that. So anyways, they talk about the necklace, and Doug said he feels really guilty about it, and that Julie is thinking of going to the police and reporting it. So he has to go to Leo to find out where he can trace the necklace, and he hasn't gotten through to Leo. So Holly said, okay, let's track him down. Let's see if we can really get back the necklace before Julie does something, in regards to reporting it, right? So he's surprised that she wants to help him and they go along together. So she said, yeah, we're friends, so let's go through with it, right? So Jada and Gabby are at the hospital, and Jada is there because, Gabby wanted her there to just, open up the DNA results. She had gotten run on Rafe to see if he's actually Rafe. So she opened the results, and turns out that the guy was not Rafe. It's actually could be Arnold, but they don't have solid proof on that. So they're gonna have to do another DNA test possibly on the person that is in custody. But Jada said that it's possible that won't that won't happen because he's denying it. He has amnesia and all that, so maybe it's a dead end. So they said, okay, let's think about going to EJ, right? Because he's the next person involved. So they both agree in going to his house. So back to the conversation with Chanel, Johnny, Sophia, and Tate, right? So Sophia is telling Johnny and Chanel that they're all good for the meeting with Mrs. Choi, or where she may have, hyped them up a little bit and said to her mom that, they have strong Christian values, and Chanel's in charge of a women's ministry. So of course they're surprised by that all, and they wonder how this is going to work out. So Tate said, if you want to back out, I completely understand, if this is too much. So Chanel said that, listen, we really want to be a family, and even though this is a lie and it seems like a lie, this is a lie, all that we will try our best to prove to Mrs. Choi that we're still great individuals and we are ready to raise your baby, right? So anyways, they set up the meeting and said that the lunch will be over at the Demira place. So they go ahead to set that up, and Sophia says that she's going to go to her mom and bring her over there, right? So Tate goes over to get the desserts for the meeting, right? So while he's getting the pastry, this is where Holly and Doug were at in the square talking about the necklace and seeing how best, they can really navigate through this, right? So Doug is distressed about this because they're not getting anywhere. Then Tate sees that Holly, is holding his hand. So Tate is like, what's going on here? So she said, nothing. I'm just comforting him. I'm just being a friend. He's going through a difficult time. And Tate said, so why are you holding his hand? Like, what's really going on? So Holly is saying Doug doesn't have to tell him what's going on, and Doug said it's okay, he needs to know. So he tells him, that he stole a necklace, and Holly is just helping through it to really try to retrieve the necklace to give it back to his rightful owner. So at this point, Tate is just being super judgmental, self-righteous, and saying, I really don't want you hanging out with him. He's a thief and all that. So just hide your purse. I have to go over to Sophia's now, so just hide your purse, watch out for him. So he was just being really nasty about it. So Holly was saying to Doug that you didn't have to tell him about what's going on, and that you stole a necklace. So he said, I didn't really tell him that it's Julie's necklace. So do you think that he's gonna rat me out? So she said, I will talk to him and let him understand the situation, that he needs to just keep it to himself, right? All that is happening, EJ and Paulina are at the mansion. And let me not say EJ and Paulina, because Paulina just stepped her foot into the mansion. Earlier, EJ was on the phone with Kristen, because Kristen is at her mom's arraignment, and he's saying to her, hopefully she keeps her mouth shut and does not say anything about, their involvement. So he wishes her luck, and he says that, thankfully Rafe doesn't remember anything or his involvement in his kidnapping. So, hopefully everything goes smooth. But he feels like he's on top of the world. But, you don't feel so comfortable, EJ, because, your world is about to crash once they know what's really going on, right? And your involvement. So anyways, he opens the door. Paulina just walls in. She doesn't ask, may I even come in? She just walls in, which I don't understand it with EJ and the security of this house. Like, he just doesn't have a boundary. Like, okay, you don't have to let her in. You guys are not really like close like that. He even said, Paulina, she said, that's mere price to you. So anyways, they come in to talk, and, she said she gave, a little bit of thought to what he said some days ago about how it would look on her, how it would reflect on the administration if Jada is guilty, and, bail would be compromised. And, she did give him merit for that, but she still said that she's not going to hire him back because he might be going to jail for his role in this whole Rafe and Arnold situation, being that he did it before. He said Arnold is dead, had no involvement in that. He's swearing up and down about that. Of course, she doesn't believe him, and he said, if anything, you need to look at how Jada might be going to jail, and it might reflect on how your administration is handled poorly and all that. So he's just berating her and how she's managing everything, and they're going back and forth. Chanel and Johnny come in at this point because they're getting ready to settle the meeting, and then they see them arguing, and they said, what is going on? So they're just blaming each other. So they look. So Shanna said, look, we don't have no time for this. And, Mrs. Choi is coming over. And this, again, I don't understand. Why Chanel doesn't talk to EJ since he's the owner of the house? Why doesn't she talk to her father-in-law about inviting people? Yes, it's their house, but common courtesy, like tell him that, you're inviting people. And it's such an important meeting like this. So anyway, she tells him, and they said that they've been wanting to adopt Sophia's and Tate baby. So now is a chance, and she's coming over, and we have to look the part. We have to prove that we're good, upstanding citizens. And of course, Paulina is snarky that EJ throwing jabs. So Chanel says, I don't care about that. You guys need to learn to act civilly. If you can't do that, you guys need to leave, which I agree with. So anyways, they said they will play the part, and that was that. So Mrs. Choi and Sophia come over, they introduce themselves to each other, and, they go into the room to wait. And at this point, Johnny comes in, introduces himself. And, might I say that this is the most awkward, meeting I've seen on this for a while. Very, very awkward and stuffy, right? So everybody is trying to get acquainted, and she asks everybody about their religious values, and even EJ, how she asks about his background. He said that his mom is a devout Christian and all that, but she asks about his father. And I'm saying, doesn't Mrs. Choi live in how long she has lived in Salem? Because doesn't she know about Stefano DeMera? Like, everybody, if you're not lying on the rock, you know about Stefano DeMera. Like, I would think she'd be hesitant about this from the get-go. Like, a DeMera, like, everybody knows about the DeMera's reputation, right? I don't know. She must be living under a rock. But anyways, she asks about that. She asks about Nicole because, they used to carpool together, Holly and Sophia. So he said, she's gone on to greener process with this now defunct priest and all of that. So Paulina is chiming in and saying, nobody wants to be bored by your divorce and all that. Let's move on to happier things. So, Mrs. Choice is saying that she just wants to hear, she wants to hear, and she's glad that he's being honest. So anyways, Tay comes in royally late with the dessert, and it's awkward. Everybody's staring at him. So he comes in and tries to, boost up Chanel and saying that he got pastry from Chanel's bakery. And she said, oh, you own a bakery? So she said, yes, sweet bit. So Mrs. Choi doesn't like the name for whatever reason, about it's not really holy or whatever it is. And I'm just saying, like, this woman has a stick up way up where, right? Like, every little thing is a problem. So She's asking, it's just really awkward, honestly, right? And then to make it more awkward, Jada and Gabby just chime in, right? Barge into the mansion without no notice. No, there's no security at this place. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, they need to up the security, because there's no way they had the right to come into the place. Jada, being a police officer, she shouldn't just barge in like that. So anyways, Gabby comes in like, where's my brother? I know you've been hiding in here, blah, blah, blah. And, everybody's surprised. Mrs. Choi is surprised, like, what is going on here? And EJ said, I have nothing to do with your brother in this, and you're lying, like, you have him under the tunnel. So Johnny is coming saying, is that true, Dad? Are you mixed up with this guy who, assaulted my mom back in the day? And she said, no, I swear I didn't have nothing to do with it. So anyways, Jada said, Johnny, can you show me to the tunnel? So without hesitation, he showed her down there, and then he came back up, and he just said, don't worry, this is all going to be sorted out, because at this point everybody want to reschedule. So he said, no, when they come up, they're going to apologize to me, and I'm going to send them out. So Gabby said, I know you have something to do with it. So they're waiting, and Jada comes out, and she couldn't find Rafe at all. So he said, see, now you guys get out of my house, right? And I'm saying, like, they come in, they want to explore around the place. And he said, even, you don't have a warrant to do that. So Jada is saying, I don't have my job thanks to you, so I can do whatever. I'm like, no, ma'am, you can't just go into people's private place. Like, EJ could sue you guys for just trespassing. That is what happened to Rafe. Not saying that what happened to Rafe is fear, but he shouldn't have been trespassing EJ's place. Like, if he hadn't done that, he wouldn't got in trouble with Arnold, right? And then this whole mix up with EJ. This is not initially EJ's fault, but EJ kept it playing, kept it continuing, right? So anyways, they leave, and now it's just really awkward, and Mrs. Choi saying, you know what, I need to come out of this place, right? So they leave, right? Sophia, Tate, and Mrs. Choi, because they have to talk about this whole thing. So anyways, they're trying to plead with her to just give Johnny a chance. Don't let it affect, anything because of, his father's misdeeds, right? So she said, oh no, I'm not going to have my grandchild being raised here in the house. Sahara was like, even though they might be wrong about this situation, like, you heard Johnny admit that, he was once mixed up with a horrible man that, messed with his mom and all of that. Like, I don't want that kind of mess around my grandchild. Like, we have to think hard and serious about this, but I am not letting Johnny and Chanel, raise my grandchild. So that's that. So anyways, Chanel is upset because she really wanted this to go well. So now with this mess, now it's not gonna go anywhere, and Mrs. Choi is not gonna allow them to be parents to her grandchild. So now everybody's just really upset with how things go. But honestly, this was a trainer from the beginning. Mrs. Choi should have known that, once you hear the mirror, it's not gonna be a very stable thing. It might as well Chanel and Johnny just wait to have their own kid. And I just feel as if this is not going to work, and Sophie and Tate going to have to work together and raise this child, and Holly and Doug can get together. Like, that's how I am predicting it. What do you guys think? So while that's going on, EJ and Johnny get to talking, and Johnny's asking him yet again if he's mixed up with Arnold, and he's saying like, no, I swear up and down, I did not do anything. I did not have anything to do with that. You saw that they came up empty-handed. So Johnny's saying like, you were just working with Rafe over the holidays, and he did not even know who I was. So you were telling me you did not know that this was Arnold, whatever. So he just trying to play it off like, oh, it makes sense now. It probably might have been Arnold. So now he's just playing it off. So I said, oh, that's what you're going with? He said, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't have nothing to do with that. So he said, listen, if it turns out you're lying and you was working with the man that, assaulted my mom, like, there's hell to pay. Like, you won't see me, you won't see Chanel, you won't have anything to do with our family, and I won't forgive you, right? And I get that I'm on Johnny's side with that, because, like, how can you really, do business with somebody that, regardless of how you and your ex-wife, you have no love lost for her. Like, why would you want to work with somebody that assaulted her in that manner? Like, I don't get it. Like, EJ should have sent Arnold packing. He had all the means to send him somewhere. He could have gotten himself out of this mess, and he just keeps sinking into deeper mess. Like, I like EJ, when he's good, he's good, and he has little bad sides about, but Lord, he's gone off the deep end, and that's it for him at this point. It's gonna come down for him real bad. He needs to to, get whatever is coming to him. So that is it, guys. Comment below your thoughts on today's episode. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow.